New movie called Rapid Fire. It's one of those witness-style thrillers in which a youngster stumbles on a gangland slaying and is then pursued by an assortment of villains and crooked FBI men. What makes Rapid Fire unique, though, is its leading man, Brandon Lee. And having been taught by his father, Bruce Lee, you just know that Junior has a certain way with action. Brandon, I wondered if, first of all, you could just tell me a bit about Rapid Fire and the part you play, Jake.
I play an art student at a California college who witnesses a murder. Unfortunately, the person that I saw commit the murder happens to be the head of a Chicago crime family. He's not too interested in ever seeing me make it to the stand to testify, as you can imagine. So my character spends the rest of the movie just basically trying to survive.
Some cheap kid over there in a black jacket! He saw me wax-tang! You heard him moving!
You also had the opportunity to be involved in the film from the onset because it was written very much with you in mind.
Yeah, it was, because of being my dad's son, totally, you know, solely because of being my dad's son, I've had the opportunity to be in a lot of stupid action movies that I've turned down, you know. For that reason, I was always, it's not about that. I mean, that's not what acting's about. It's not what, listen to me, I'm a 27-year-old actor with 3 films under his belt telling me what acting's about. In my opinion, in my young, uncultured, uneducated opinion, it's not what it's about. It's about people and human situations, and that's what's always affected me about it, you know? And if it doesn't have that, I mean, if the film, if you don't care about the characters and you don't believe in them as people, it's just kind of a pointless exercise in blowing things up. He's a 21, 22-year-old kid. He's not like a cop or a superhero or something. And I wanted to always stay close to that root of the fact that the circumstances he finds himself in are very horrible to him almost. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a certain amount of apprehension and horror on his part at having to do the things that he finds himself forced to do, instead of having him just kind of become this superhero who would just kind of like smoke a cigarette, shoot the guy dead, get the girl and go home. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different movie. It's not this movie.
You know what I want to do? I'm going to break your hands, finger by finger. And then I'm going to break your ribs, rib by rib. And then I'm going to break your legs. Knock yourself out.
We got cops out here!
Some of the fight sequences particularly were very, very well choreographed and very well done. Everyone didn't suddenly turn around and become an amazing martial artist.
Yeah, well, you know, we're dealing with the Chicago Mafia for the majority of the first 2/3 of the film, and you would not expect these guys to be martial artists. And you also would expect them to have guns. You know, the problem with making a martial arts movie in the modern-day world is there are guns.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care how good you are. If you're more than 4 or 5 feet away from me and I've got a gun, you're going to lose. You know what I mean? I wanted to try and bring some of that flavor of those Hong Kong martial arts movies, because that's where I grew up, you know, and that's where I did my first film. And I wanted to try and bring some of the flavor of that into Rapid Fire, because I've always been a lot more impressed by those films' action sequences than by any films that are done in America.
You're contracted to Carolco now to make an unspecified number of movies, is that right? It's quite an unusual thing for an actor your age, and also for an actor in this day and age, because most movie companies aren't prepared to sort of put their money where their mouths are in that way. Were you surprised at an offer like that?
Well, yeah, I was. I mean, it's very nice, you know, it's very nice, but it's still not any, there's no job security in this particular profession, you know. It's kind of a constant state of unemployment broken up by a job every once in a while.
You're a slow learner, kid. Get your ass in here! Get your head down!
Fans of Brandon may like to know about a tape you can buy called Hollywood Stunt Makers, which features some behind-the-scenes fights and an interview from Brandon, as well as some vintage footage of his father.